Hello, everybody. This is Series 14 that I have casted of the TA Escalation Pro 2021 tournament. And today's game is between Rampage, the blue arm commander in the bottom right, starting vehicle first, and Race in the top left, the teal core commander going vehicle first as well. And this is another round 3 game, I believe the last round 3 game of the tournament. And these are both very strong players. I anticipate we are going to have some epic matches between these two. Already, it's interesting to see that they've chosen different factions for this particular map. This map, Corrupted Conflict, I like quite a bit. I've said in the past, it is very interesting. Only one entrance to get through to your opponent's side of the map, which otherwise is blocked by these mountainous regions, which will prevent your opponent from accessing that area unless they have air transports to ferry units over. It does look like Rampage will bring a single Jeffy to get some harassment done on this construction vehicle, but not much. Doesn't look like he will achieve too much there, as Race was prepared with a small contingent of his own weasels to chase that thing off. So pretty typical start by both players. In a previous match, the one I just casted between ESC and NIM, ESC on this map did some very unorthodox things. He flew, he built a couple of air transports and flew some Reapers over into NIM's base and did quite a bit of economic damage. Very interesting games. If you haven't seen that, that's Series 13. That's Nim to Nim versus Executrix, which was an amazing series. Went all 3 games. I'm not going to tell you who won, but awesome games. Very interesting strategies, and both players definitely eating their hearts out. Really doing some absolute work and showing off their skills as not just Escalation players, but Total Annihilation players in general. So very fun to cast, and I hope these games can match that level of legendary gameplay. So we will see. At this point, both players getting some harassment done. Here in the middle, it does look like we are kind of massing forces, a force of instigators at the top of this canyon and a force of flashes at the southern part. I have called this middle area of Corrupted Conflict a mini gauntlet because it does kind of act like the map Gauntlet in the sense that you have to make it through this treacherous passage, which is relatively easily defended with light laser towers and dragon's teeth and any other nastiness that each player decides to construct at the edge of the entrance to make it difficult for their opponent to break through. And so it does tend to lead to these semi-stalemate situations where each player has a difficult time breaking through to their opponent's side of the map. Here in the bottom left, it does look as though Race has a few weasels trying to sneak by, but they will be promptly corded away by these flashes, which were waiting for just that eventuality. Single weasel getting behind this mech's. Very annoying, but he will be taken out. Nothing too permanent done there. So, yeah. Overall, both players kind of on even footing, I'd say. The middle of the map has been demarcated by these lines of light laser towers. Race has gone K-Bot second, it seems, and now going to Tier 2, going advanced vehicles. I don't like these AKs. I think it would be better for him to build some Storms. Some long-range missile bots would be a great option here. It would give him an opportunity to just kind of slowly pelt these flashes and light laser towers from a great range. These AKs aren't going to do much because they have to get in range of these flashes and light laser towers to do their damage. And they're strictly inferior to instigators anyway in a direct combat situation. So I really think if he could build some Storms, he is now building Storms, much, much better in this kind of stalemate scenario. I've said before, I do like this map quite a bit. I think it's very well designed, and it leads to a lot of interesting games and strategies. Rampage now finishing his T2 vehicle plant and building a spot here. We'll have to see what he wants to do with that. It could just be reclaiming. He might just reclaim with that spot. Now the spot is I think it's called a combat construction bot. It has a very specific construction palette. I can only build certain things, but I do believe it can build mines. I think it can build certain defenses. Oh, it looks like it can build metal extractors too. So we will have to see what he was trying to do with these spots. Maybe he's just trying to take over the leftover metal places that haven't been claimed yet. That might be all that he was attempting to do with those. But I have half a mind to believe that there's something more sinister going on here. Okay, he is going to build a Sentinel. And let's look at Race's base. He's got some shadows. Race has demonstrated unbelievable bomber control in previous casts of this tournament, so I do not doubt his ability to inflict unbelievable amounts of damage onto Rampage with these shadows. I'm excited to see what he does with them. Meanwhile, both players just kind of fortifying the middle. Just building some Sentinels, Gat, looks like a Guardian. This will make it very difficult for either player to cross onto the other side, and here comes the aforementioned bombing run. Okay, he's gonna take out some flashes here. He's gonna take out some defenses, but yeah, I don't think this is the best place to bomb. Going to do some damage to that Guardian, but I really hoped he would go into his opponent's almost undefended base here and take out, I don't know, an advanced vehicle plant would be good. Any of these plants would be fine. There was definitely some better targets than these defenses here. So yeah, not the most effective bombing run for sure. Certainly, I think there were better targets than his opponent's units, but he will still attempt to push into this. I don't think it's very well advised. There is a ton of defenses here. And now there's Bulldogs as well, and yeah, that was not so successful. Rampage was absolutely prepared for this, and those bombers just didn't get enough done to justify sending all of his forces through. And now I would say Rampage is in a much better position because he still has most of his army. He's just going to clean up these instigators, and now he is quite certainly ahead in just the amount of units he has. But still, I don't know if it's enough to push through here because both players have done a great job of fortifying the entrance to their little mini gauntlet here. So Fortunately, we might get back to a bit of a stalemate situation. This Guardian continuing to kill anything within its range, and both players just kind of getting back to a state of parity. Let's see what's going on up in Race's base. He is building some resource generators, which are kind of like mini fusions. They produce quite a bit of energy, but they can also convert that energy into metal. I think it's 250 energy for 2 metal. So quite an effective way to boost your economy there for a relatively cheap price. And in the bottom, Rampage is on advanced vehicles and advanced K-bots as well. So both players deciding to diversify their forces, and both players going for, I believe, both advanced K-bots and advanced vehicles, which gives them the opportunity to build a much more interesting combination of units. Rampage bringing up some penetrators here. These are very effective. In fact, I was surprised in the game between NIM and EXE that no penetrators were built, because these are very good on these kinds of stalemate situations. I believe NIM was ARM in that game, and so NIM had a lot of opportunities to build penetrators against EXE's endless wave of Goliaths. I think that would have been a great choice. It might have even won him the game there. It's hard to say. It's all counterfactuals. But either way, penetrators in this situation are quite strong indeed, and we will have to see how they serve Rampage. Rampage upgrading his Guardian to a toaster, which are quite a bit stronger and have more range. So once that completes, this will be an even more difficult position to assume. Harold's saying in the chat, T4 game. We certainly hope so. That would be quite amazing to cast. I would love to see T4 in this tournament. But we will have to see what the players can do. Certainly, it seems as though there has been a stalemate, and both players just kind of teching up, increasing their economic advantage, and not much else going on. I'm trying to look here if anything sneaky is being done in the game between EXE and NIM. I had to literally watch the game 3 times to recognize that EXE had built 3 neutrons, 3 tactical nuclear launchers. He built 3 of them and he hid them very well, and I had to rewatch the replay 3 times to see it. So I'm just trying to see if either of these players is resorting to any kind of sneaky, unpredictable tactic. But at this point, it doesn't look like it. Rampage does have a little contingent of Thunders here. Those might be able to accomplish something, depending on how he uses them. But Race has built quite a wall of pulverizers here, and that will certainly make it difficult for those bombers to get past and do anything. But these penetrators coming into play, as I mentioned earlier, these are quite effective in these types of stalemate situations. I believe the penetrators in Escalation have an even longer range than they did in Vanilla. And they already had a pretty impressive range in the original game, so these will outrange most of Race's composition. And we have seen, I have casted games in this tournament that penetrators have pretty much single-handedly won. I think penetrators are an outstanding unit, especially in this mod. They are very game-winning if used correctly. And Core does seem to have trouble responding to them because they outrange every Core T2 unit, except perhaps the Diplomats, but the Diplomats can only hit non-moving targets. Oh, I did miss this bombing run. I apologize. I think the bombers came up here and got 2 geos, so that's you know, not bad considering the amount of air defense. 2 geos is it's respectable. It's not going to cripple Race's economy, but it is going to be annoying. And considering how much air defense Race had, it's impressive that he was even able to do that. So pretty epic battle in the mid here. And it does look like Rampage may have pushed a little too far. He's now coming down. Race is coming down with this impressive army of cans and Goliaths and some pillagers in the back. But against this Guardian... Oh, wow. Okay. Let me slow it down here. Race has brought in a small group of Hurricanes to get some bombing runs done. In past games, he has demonstrated unbelievable control with bombers, and he seems to be doing it again here. This toaster getting very low. Oh, can the Hurricanes finish it off? Yes, they do. Great job. A great combination of air and land combat. Yeah, I think those bombers definitely made the difference in this battle. I did not expect that, but it definitely allowed him to push through. Still, he's now pulling back. These spiders might paralyze everything that Race has, and so he's going to pull back here and maybe reinforce, regroup, get all of his stuff back together, and we'll see what happens from there. But overall, good push by Race. He definitely took out most of Rampage's defenses with that combination of bombing and pillagers and Goliaths. And so he does seem to be in kind of the dominant position here. Let's look at the mini-map. Let's see. So Race does have more metal. It does look like he's producing about 20 more metal per second than his opponent. Not bad. That's an impressive advantage at this point in the game. But more importantly, I like his army composition more. Those penetrators were taken out, as we were mentioning earlier in this cast. Penetrators are very strong against Core T2, but those penetrators were destroyed by a combination of bombing and just the push that happened a few minutes ago. Here we go. Here we got some more Hurricanes coming in to take out what's left of these defenses. Very effective bombing runs by Race. As I said, he's got some of the best bombing control in the entire community. So great job there, and he has kind of cracked open Rampage's defensive position here, and it's going to allow Race to probably be able to push through here momentarily. He's just gathering his forces, and it is the deep breath before the plunge, as Gandalf would say. Let's see what else is going on. Here at the top, just building eco, nothing out of the ordinary. I don't see anything. This map is huge, so it's really hard to keep track of everything being built. He is building a neutralizer, so nice tactical nuke there on behalf of Race. Like I said, this map is big, so sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything going on. Race is also rebuilding these geos that were killed earlier in Rampage's successful bombing run. Let's see what Rampage is building. Got some Mavericks. Building some fusions. He's got T2 air. Looks like he's building Hawks. Try not to miss anything here. Overall, it looks like both players are just kind of scouting each other out. Kind of feeling, trying to get a feeling for what each player is doing, what kind of sneaky, underhanded tactics they may be up to. But there was being a Bertha built before this engagement, before Race counterattacked down into Rampage's base. He was building a Bertha, but that looks to be gone now. So good job, I guess, taking that Bertha out, preventing that from becoming a problem. Berthas can be a game-ending structure. They can certainly cause the opponent to lose the game if they hit critical targets like fusions or anything really explosive. Obviously, they could target it. They could take out a command or two. So yeah, Berthas can be a huge problem in these kinds of stalemate scenarios, and Race doing a good job at taking out Rampage's Bertha there. So Race still working on this neutralizer, and it doesn't look as though Rampage has any anti-nukes built, so that tactical nuke will be able to come through here with absolute impunity unless Rampage does something. Okay, Rampage being a little cheeky here, he's built a Sky Crane, which is the T2 ARM air transport. He's going to pick up a small army of Mavericks here. He's bringing some Mavericks. He's also got some erasers here to hide this from radar. It does look as though the players are kind of talking to one another. They're kind of just some light banter between the two. But I don't think Race would be bantering with Rampage if he knew what he had planned. This is quite sneaky indeed. Very underhanded. This could be a devastating drop if Race is not prepared for this. This might potentially end the game. But there is a lot of air defense. Let's slow it down. Not much happening in the middle, but here we go. Here comes the doom drop. They're gonna try to drop as much as they can. Here we go. Race now recognizing what's going on, and he says, "Oh, damn!" That's what he said in the chat. He's like, "Yeah, here I offered you some solace, and you do this to me. How dare you?" He's bringing over his huge contingent of Hurricanes. Where are those Hawks? Rampage had Hawks. Where are they? He needs them now because these Hurricanes are taking no prisoners. Here they are. Here are these Hawks. They're coming in. They're going to try to take out these bombers. But Race was prepared. He had his own Vamps. He had his own air defense. And ultimately, it does look like these Hurricanes are going to slowly but surely take out this little raiding party. So a decent attempt by Rampage, but Race was ready for it. And oh wow, it looks like he was moving his whole army. He was moving his entire army to stop that. Race saying in the chat, "Good thing I had bombers." Good thing indeed he had bombers, because that could have been much, much worse. He was panicking. He moved his entire army to stop it, but luckily the bombers were able to clean up most of it. Here comes the first tactical nuke from Race, and he takes out quite a bit there, quite a few bulldogs, a Geo, and inflicting heavy damage on the remaining bulldogs and spiders. It did look like he had 2. Oh my goodness. 5. Okay, here comes the next doom drop. Oh my goodness, but it does look like that is going to be curtailed by this several Cobras here. And he's also pushing down the middle after that successful tactical nuke. And I gotta tell you, Rampage is going to be hard-pressed to stop this attack. Right, let's go back here. 5 tactical nukes. 5. And I don't see a single anti-nuke anywhere. I don't see a single protector or hedgehog anywhere. Race seems to have come into this game. He seems to have gleaned a massive advantage. He is now winning on multiple fronts. He's bombing the top left corner of Rampage's base. He's pushing down the middle. And if that weren't enough, he has 5 tactical nukes, all building a stockpile in reserve. This is a very, very dire scenario for his opponent. And to be honest, I don't see how Rampage gets out of this situation. There's just so much stuff. Just so much stuff. I mean, Core... The thing about Core is that their units are slow, but my god. Sometimes it just seems unstoppable. And Rampage kind of making the observation that it's probably over. I would concur with that. This is just a scary amount of stuff. It looks like both units have put their stuff on hold fire. But either way, Rampage bowing out. Great game by both players. Very impressive. Yeah, I think either one of them could have won that game. But Race ultimately getting ahead with some nice bombing runs. 5 tactical nukes and an impressive army. So great game 1, guys. Well played by both of you, and I'm excited to see what the next match brings. Okay, this is game 2 on Aramon Chili Rivers between Race and Rampage. Rampage in the blue, the armed commander, just starting with some eco, and Race in the red, the core commander, also building some eco. And going aircraft plant first. That is impressive. This is the second time in the tournament I've seen someone do this. The last time was EXE in Game 3 of Series 13. So, yeah, starting air first is... Well, it's a risky play. It can pay off if your bombing is good enough, and we have seen that Race has quite impeccable bombing skills, so I will not turn my nose up at it. We will have to see how he does this. How does he take advantage of going air first? Air is typically more of a support factory. It's something you build usually second or third, but to build it first is well, it's risky, but it can pay off, especially if your opponent doesn't expect it, and we will have to see how Rampage reacts. Already some good bombing going on here. He takes out 1 metal extractor. Oh, and Rampage is immediately building up some defenders. He's taking out 2 metal extractors. He's going to take out this defender, but not in time, so... he does take out 2 metal extractors for his trouble. Not the most effective bombing run in the world. And, yeah, even Race is saying in the chat, big fail. So he kind of recognizes that he has now put himself way behind, I would think. Because he doesn't have any units. He doesn't have any land units. He doesn't have anything to defend his base. And, Rampage saying, I hope not. Rampage kind of admitting that he's a bit tired. But either way, Race certainly behind from this position, I would say. If you're going to go aircraft first, you have to get a lot done with that first bomber, or your opponent will get a huge advantage over you, simply because they will be in a permanent control of the ground until you can get your own vehicle plant or K-Bot lab to start producing units. And I have to be honest, I'm surprised that Rampage isn't pushing his advantage more here. He could definitely be bringing Pee-wees down to harass Race's base. For a while, he didn't have much to defend, but I guess Rampage is content to simply rest on his laurels and take over the metal spots on his part of the map within his starting area. He has gone hovercraft second. That is an interesting choice on this map. It does allow you to expand to these little side islands more easily and potentially come at your opponent from unexpected directions. If you use the water entrances, the beaches, you could potentially catch your opponent off guard with some hovercrafts raiding. But yeah, I am surprised that Rampage didn't punish Race more for starting aircraft. I feel like he could have kind of boxed him in here. He could have certainly made sure that he didn't expand to these areas. You know, didn't really leave. He could contain him in this kind of in this little starting zone with just Pee-wees, just kind of keeping him there. I mean, it would be difficult to push the commander with just Pee-wees, but you could certainly make it hard on him. Definitely do a bit of a soft contain, but yeah, it doesn't look like Race was punished much for starting air first. And because of that, he is now expanding all over the map, getting to places that land cannot reach, so it does look like he's taking all of these plateaus. Got one here, taking the plateau here, building a fusion, taking the plateau here. In the middle, a small skirmish between Instigators and Pee-wees, and of course Instigators will come out on top in those engagements. Nothing too surprising about that. And let's see. Rampage building his own bombers now. He's got a couple Thunders. A few scouts getting picked off by Pee-wees. And Race sending through quite a large contingent of Instigators. He's got, it looks like he has about 20 or 30. It's hard to say exactly, but enough to be a serious problem. So, yeah, we'll have to see what Rampage does. He built hovercraft earlier. He is taking over these underwater metal spots, which should give him a bit of an advantage. He has taken the North Island here. But we'll have to see what these this group of Instigators can get done. It does look like Rampage is ready. He has a small army of Pee-wees and Flashes that should at least hamper this attempt. And I'm not sure what Race wants to do. He is kind of boxing himself into a corner here. He has chosen to go to a location through which there's no way out. And here come the two Thunders we saw earlier. Rampage is going to try to get some bombing done. Okay, here we go. Gets one metal extractor, gets two. But it does look like Race was ready for that. And he will fend off that attack with a few well-placed missile towers. Meanwhile, it does look like these Instigators did come out on top, surprisingly to me. And we're going to have another little skirmish here in the middle. But yeah, these Instigators are going to have a very hard time pushing up this small entrance, which is protected by a couple light laser towers. He's going to hit a literal wall of Flashes, which are going to force him back. So very well defended by Rampage there, but if we look at the map, it does seem like Race has quite a bit more surface area. He has taken over all of these plateaus, anywhere that his planes can reach. He's also taken the middle here. Rampage does have the northern area, but we don't know for how long, because Race has brought up a small contingent of salamanders, which is the core T1. It's kind of a skirmish / raiding hovercraft with these very effective flamethrowers that are especially good at close range. It just kind of feels like Race is everywhere. It just feels like he kind of has the whole map except for these underwater metal extractors, which Rampage has smartly built all over, which is definitely going to give him some income, but it does seem as though the rest of the map has become a very bright shade of red. Rampage now moving in with Mavericks and Flashes. There's been a lot of discussion about Mavericks in the Discord. Here comes a bombing run of Shadows through the middle here. They're going to take out some units. They're going to fly into Rampage's base, kill a few metal extractors, maybe get the resource generator. No, he's just going to take out some windmills. It's hard to say how much that got done. It did take out a few metal spots, but overall nothing too disastrous. As I was saying, there's been a discussion about Mavericks in the Discord about whether they're too strong or what their role should be. Certainly, at this point in the game, I think Mavericks are a fantastic choice. They should give Rampage an advantage in these ground skirmishes, at least for the next few minutes, until his opponent, Race, can begin to build counters. So, it does look as though Race is attempting to push up this tiny hill again, and I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah, he will get cleaned up by these Mavericks. These Mavericks are quite impressive. They do a lot of damage, and they are very fast. I believe they're talking about in the next patch potentially nerfing their speed, because they do, in this patch, move faster than Pyros, as you can kind of see right here. They're even faster than Pyros, and they are very, very effective for taking out groups of T1 units, and they do a ton of damage very, very quickly. And once they get veterancy, they do even more, and they're much harder to deal with. So, yeah, great use of Mavericks here. They are certainly showing their prowess in this situation. They are kind of dominating everything that walks into their range with reckless abandon, taking out all these instigators. Oh, somebody kill them. For God's sake, kill these Mavericks. He's going to walk right down into Race's production line here. He might even be able to take out this advanced K-Bot lab. Oh, that would be just so devastating. Oh, yeah, he did. And he took out a Moa extractor, and he's going to take out some K-Bot labs, and he's going to take out all the defense, and he's going to take out pretty much anything and everything in this area. So all I have to say about that is yikes. These Mavericks are absolutely owning, and most certainly have brought Rampage back into this game. It was looking kind of dire before. Here we have some freedom fighters flying down. We'll have to see what these can do. But yeah, these Mavericks have kind of single-handedly brought him back into the game. They have certainly allowed him to take back much of the map. There we go, these fighters still flying around. Let's look at the map. Looking a lot less red than before. Certainly easier on the eyes than it was 5 minutes ago. But Race still about 15 metal per second ahead, so he does have the economic advantage. And we'll have to see if Race can translate this economic advantage into a structural advantage, into an army advantage. Right now, Rampage still coming down the middle with Mavericks and Flashes. And wow, that is just so disgusting to watch. It almost feels unfair. I have to say, it almost feels unfair. So these Mavericks, they have now made it into the production line again of Race, and oh my gosh, they will take out another advanced K-Bot lab. So devastating. Quite a crippling blow. Rampage is doing absolute work in this game with these Mavericks. And here we have Race kind of showing off his micro skills, taking this small group of Avengers and Vamps and kind of microing them to inflict maximum damage on these Mavericks. In the meantime, it does look as though Rampage is doing a sneaky little run-by of these Anacondas, which is the main core battle hover tank. That was a mouthful. But they will be stopped by the ARM. No, I said that wrong. The Anaconda is the ARM main battle hover tank. The Snapper is the core main hover battle tank. And yeah, it doesn't look like these Anacondas are going to get much done, because Race was prepared for that eventuality. So both players still kind of even in terms of metal produced. And Rampage now pushing back down the mid again with more Mavericks. I have to say, Race hasn't done a great job of countering these Mavericks. He needs cans. Cans are a good counter. I think cans would be a decent. Slashers and Dominators aren't bad, but they have to kind of stay at a range and be very heavily microed. So we'll have to see what Race can do against this endless wave of Mavericks that are flooding onto Race's side of the map. Here we go again. Here's another battle. And Race definitely needs to micro his stuff back. He needs to stay out of range of these Mavericks. Dominator's doing some decent fire support from a distance. But can he stop this next attack? I don't know. These Mavericks are getting kind of close, and we've already seen what happens when they get into the base. They will chew through these advanced K-Bot labs like it's nothing. Okay, 2 of them have made it in. What can they get done here? Anything? Taking out a couple construction vehicles. We got some Hurricanes coming up. Hurricane's doing some bombing runs, just indiscriminately eating through anything and everything that is approaching Race's base. Very good control, but it does seem as though Rampage has a few anti-air things. Here in the top, it does seem as though this army of snappers that Race had earlier has finally made it to the north of the map, and they are coming in, but they are going to be swiftly handled by Rampage's army, which seems to have been prepared for that. And now these Hurricanes are going to fly through and try to get some economic damage done, but ultimately Rampage does seem to have been prepared for that. So this is a very close game, guys. It could go either way. I really have no idea which player comes out on top. Oh, nice. Phoenix come through. Ooh, a nice bombing run. Takes out hovercraft platform. Takes out this advanced K-Bot lab. Oh, and Race is gonna... He's gonna GG out. He says, that's enough from me. I gotta say, man, I heard tell that Mavericks were overpowered, and I didn't quite believe it. But what we just saw with our own eyes was quite scary indeed. great job by both players. I think they both played it very well, but Rampage definitely coming out on top in this particular game, using those Mavericks very well. Nice bombing runs there at the end. Yeah, great game by both players. Man, there was so much going on. It was hard to keep up with, but okay, we will go to our game 3. It's awesome that these round 3 series are going to third games, so I'm excited to see how this game pans out. Okay, this is game 3 between Rampage and Race. At the bottom, we have the Teal Core Commander, Race Core going K-Bots first. And in the top left, we have Rampage, the Blue Armed Commander, going Aircraft first. I guess this aircraft start is more popular than I thought. It seems very risky to me, though I guess the players can always transition into a ground-based structure quickly after. And, you know, the truth is Race won't really be able to punish this by starting K-Bot Lab first. He doesn't have any units that are capable of traversing these water depths by starting K-Bots. In some iterations of Total Annihilation, there are T1 amphibious units, but in Escalation, that is not a thing. K-Bots and vehicles cannot traverse water at all at T1, so you either have to go hovercrafts or something else. Here we go. There's a little bombing run by Rampage. He's going to take out 3 metal spots, 4 metal spots, 5 metal spots, 6 metal spots. Oh my god. 7, and yeah, Race clearly caught off guard here. Unbelievable. Yeah, Race definitely caught off guard. I don't think he expected that at all, and it has absolutely crippled his economy. 8 metal spots, 8 metal extractors killed by a single bomber. And what's worse, the bomber even survived to add insult to injury. What a powerful and impressive start by Rampage, showing off his line bombing skills and keeping Race on his toes. Yeah, great start, but it does look like, as a result, he is a little behind economically. He's just now building his second constructor. He did have this, no, he does have 2 construction aircraft slowly getting around the map, but construction aircraft do build relatively slowly. So, yeah, it does seem as though, even though he took out those 8 metal spots early on, these construction K-Bots are rebuilding that base very quickly. And in the meantime, Rampage is he's transporting some Peewees down onto Race's island. These Peewees might get something done. Let's see here. They do take out a couple Jethros. Crashers, rather. They take out a couple of anti-air K-Bots. He might be able to get this construction K-Bot, but nice nano blocking by Race. And this Peewee at a really good angle. He'll probably be able to take out at least one of these Crashers. Yeah, he gets that one. But overall, probably not much more being done. As I was saying before, Race has done a great job of bouncing back from that massive economic blow early on. These construction K-Bots, very efficient for taking over the island. And let's just look at the economies here. Race is, it's hard to tell, but Rampage does look to be a little ahead on metal, but only by about 5. Considering that start, it is impressive that that Race was able to get back in this. But yeah, Rampage doing another drop here with Warriors. Warriors are quite strong against Race's army composition. They should fare pretty well against, especially against Crashers. Yeah, these two warriors are quite a formidable force. It does look like he will eventually clean them up, but those were certainly worth their weight in gold. They took out an untold number of AKs and crashers. So Rampage, utilizing some very interesting strategies, keeping his opponent on his toes with these transports, these drops onto his main island. This is the first time we've ever seen this particular strategy on Mangrove. So very, very heads-up play by Rampage to keep his opponent on his toes with these constant bombing runs and drops into Race's base. And both players going shipyard. That's another very unique component of that's new to this game, is that we haven't really seen ships on this map too much. Typically players will go hovercraft, but both players deciding to go ships this game as well as hovercraft. And ships are very cost efficient. They will beat hovercraft quite effectively in direct combat if they just pound for pound. They are extremely cost effective because they can only traverse on water, so they have to be very good at what they do. And so if both players do decide to get into ship to hovercraft combat, they should quite easily come out on top of those engagements. Let's look here again at the economy. Rampage still ahead, it seems. He's about 12 metal ahead per second. He's got some wombats here waiting for these salamanders, which are now coming through and are going to try to get into melee range with these wombats, as they have to get close to get their flamethrowers into effective range. So yeah, Rampage doing a good job of keeping his opponent at bay with this small contingent of wombats, preventing any kind of aggression from getting onto his main island and wreaking havoc. But it does look like Race has built a small contingent of Vikings. These are like somewhere between Skeeters and Destroyers. They are kind of a middle ground here, and as I said before, they will be pretty damn strong against hovercraft, especially if they can get into range, but that is just way too many wombats for them to deal with. And it does look like Rampage bringing down his own ships. He's got a Crusader here, he's got a Vanguard, and this single Crusader could be quite devastating. Crusaders, of course, have depth charges of their own, and these extremely powerful shells, which explode on impact and have a decent AoE. So he needs to keep his units spread out and try to tackle this Crusader by surrounding it if he can. In the meantime, Rampage has brought his wombats into Race's island, but they will be forced to retreat. So Rampage continuing this aggression with a combination of Crusaders and Vanguards. Very effective. This Crusader is at about 1/3 health, but it might as well be at full health because Crusaders do an incredible amount of damage, and they will continue to do that damage until completely killed. Let's see if he can take out this Crusader. It's getting low, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop it. In the meantime, there's a battle in the middle between hovercrafts. It does look like it's mostly snappers versus wombats. But let's focus again here on this combat. Oh, this Crusader is so low. He just needs to kill this Crusader. This thing has an unbelievable amount of kills, I'm sure. And he has taken out the shipyard, so that will stifle Race's ability to even build counters at all to these to this Crusader and this army of Vanguards. Gosh, this thing is just one hit. One shot could kill it, but it has just paid for itself many times over. Let's see if we can see how many kills. 8 kills on this thing. 8 kills on that single Crusader. That has been a very, very prestigious career for that officer who's ever in control of piloting that ship. Needs a promotion. So, again, in the middle, we have a fight between wombats and snappers. And theoretically, the snappers should win in combat, but only if they can get in range. And in the meantime, it does look like Rampage has snuck a small army of anacondas into Race's base, and it looks like this might be the end. Rampage, with an absolutely dominant performance from the very beginning, killing 8 metal extractors with 1 bomber and then surviving, and then pushing his advantage with some nice hovercraft raids. Doing these drops, he did several drops with Atlases, bringing those onto his opponent's island, and at the very least keeping him on his toes. And then he won the sea battle. That single Crusader did so much, it's unbelievable. And then ultimately winning the hovercraft war as well. So definitely winning on every front. I think this series is the closest series we've seen so far. I really thought Race would win, to be honest. He was playing really well, but both players did very well, and this is why I love Escalation, guys. Aircraft first. Aircraft first. What the heck? I mean, how is that even a thing? But, I mean, it's working so well in some of these games, and then other games, it's an absolute disaster. Like I would say last game, when Race tried to do it, it was kind of a disaster. It just put him behind, and it might have been the reason he lost, too, because, you know, it definitely put him behind, and then even though he did take over most of the map, he may have even gotten further ahead if he had started with vehicles himself, but either way, great performance by both players. My God, I could watch 10 games between these two. So evenly matched. Very impressive. And yeah, Rampage will go on into the semifinals. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the semifinals, and I'm sure we are all excited to see those games. I believe we are moving to a best-of-5 format. So strap yourselves in for some epic games ahead, and thank you for watching.